Good morning. It's time to get in touch. In Touch is a public affairs show dedicated to improving the lives of Susquehanna Valley residents. I'm Freddi Hammer, News Director at Backyard Broadcasting.
The Lycoming County Veterans Memorial Park is at 3401 West 4th Street in Williamsport. It's a place to honor veterans and hopefully instill and foster a sense of appreciation and respect for all those who served honorably in the U.S. military. The location's seen lots of activity lately. They've had the project of installing an A-6 Intruder aircraft. Part of that is happening this spring, and part of it happened last year. They also have memorial bricks that are being funded and installed permanently by local folks. Today on In Touch, I'm honored to be joined by a group of guys who are veterans working on making a difference and maintaining a valuable park for veterans and their loved ones. Good morning. First of all, we'll say hello to John Markley. He's the secretary of the Veteran Memorial Park. Good morning.
Good morning.
I also have Chuck Stutzman. He is the vice chair for the Veterans Memorial Park in Williamsport. Hi, Chuck.
Hi.
And Don Young, who's a member of the Veterans Memorial Park, working with some great guys this morning. Hello to all of you.
Morning.
I'm interested in the reasons why the Veterans Memorial Park began in the first place. So, John, can you tell me a little bit about the history of the Veterans Memorial Park in Williamsport?
Yes, it started with George Logue wanted to honor his brother that was killed in World War II. He wanted to get a group of people together like Jess Hackenberg, himself, a couple other older members that are no longer with us. God bless their souls.
Mm-hmm.
Have a memorial for the submarines that were lost over in Hawaii. The dedication of the submarine memorial, like back in 1990, and then it was dedicated in 92. And in 1996, the city of Williamsport accepted the deed to the land that it sits on from George Logue. And then from that point on, it just started to grow. Chuck Smith, Jess Hackenberg are the last two on our commission that were involved with that. And then in 1997 was the first time the World War II monument was built. And then in 98 was the World War I monument. Then 2000 was the Korean War veteran monument, and then in 2001 was the Vietnam veteran memorial. And then in 1999 was the tank was delivered from up in New York. They're rough dates, and I got to say that they were all volunteers, all donations given to the park for each one of these monuments that was built, and all dedicated on those dates I gave you. And it was very impressive, and we thank everybody out there that helps with the donations. Without them, the park wouldn't be there today. And each one of these monuments that we have up there, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, all have the names of Lycoming County veterans who served and gave their supreme sacrifice for our community.
Well, we're so grateful for them and grateful to have a place where we can go and remember them and the sacrifice that they did make. Let me ask Chuck Stutzman, as the vice chair of the Veterans Memorial Park, were you involved in any of those monument installations, or are you more of a person that's handling the A-6 Intruder at this time?
I came up a few years ago, involved in the last 6 memorials that we put up that allowed us to have the final 6 that were declared wars by the United States represented in the park. That included the decorative wall behind it and the walkway that's in front of those 6 new memorials.
And Don Young, you have been involved now as far as the park goes, getting ready for the A-6 Intruder that moved over in October, but now you're getting ready to fundraise and make this installation back to its, I guess, a pristine condition.
Yeah, we're looking at restoring that, get it painted back to the original paint scheme to combat veterans.
So, John Markley, let me ask you a little bit more about the fundraising aspect of the A-6 Intruder. Are you asking for funds for the painting project, or is there more that we need to raise funds for to make sure that we have a beautiful place?
Well, after all the hard work that everybody went through to get that A-6 Intruder up there, it took us 13 months. Yes, we're looking for funds, donations for the painting, which is we're estimating around $10,000. We have a company donating the paint to us. But just painting it isn't all of it. We want to bring it back to its original look and display it with honor, with all the decals and everything. We need to have concrete poured. We need to have the sidewalk put around it. There's going to be a placard put up that Don Young's working on, explaining what the A-6 Intruder is and the missions it was on.
It came from the Penn College of Technology Aviation Maintenance department. When did they acquire the A6?
Don Young?
Yeah, the A6 was donated from the Navy to Penn College back in late 96, and then they used it for educational programs for their aviation.
And so you talk about this process beginning over 13 months ago. Is that when you first requested any kind of the use of the A6, or did they come to you and say, hey, we want to donate this to the park?
Well, we had originally heard that they had a helicopter over there, a Huey helicopter to look at. That wasn't going to fit our needs because it was a civilian configuration. We saw the A6 and we started discussing with them, and they were pretty much finished with it, not utilizing it anymore in their curriculum since everything was so obsolete. So then we went into discussions with the school and administration, transferring it over to us at the park.
That's pretty exciting when you started thinking about how long it took you to make the arrangements. I mean, it wasn't on the road until October, so that's like 8 months of planning. What was the first step you had to do besides then making sure that it was available? And is there paperwork that goes along with that? And what happens in the transfer?
Yeah, there was a lot that went into it, not just the bureaucratic red tape, but just the logistics of even getting it out of the airport. They didn't have a gate wide enough. Where the wings fold, it's 25 feet across, side to side. And the street coming out of the airport in Montoursville, there was telephone poles right at the curb on both sides of the street that were about 21 feet. So there was no way to get it out easily. And then, working with Allison Crane and High Transport, coming up with a game plan to get it out of the airport, basically lift it over the fence, put it onto a special lowboy trailer, and then the boys there behind the airport, they were gracious and left us use their lot to come out through there, got it across a railroad egress from the airport, and come out through the Savoy lot, and then out onto the Broad Street there, and then down to the Fairfield exit on the highway, and then up.
You had to do that all within that one shot. Like you had one shot to go from the airport to its landing place. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. It was classified as a super load, so they had route surveys, multiple route surveys they had to do to make sure any bridges, clearance. That was the other part of the problem. The work was the height of it, because it was 16 foot 9 inches to the tip of the tail fin. So we had to get it low enough to get under any bridges and wires and everything. So it was a one-shot deal, and once they got it on the trailer and state police come with their transport unit to measure for the permits and everything, if any one thing was wrong, it would have been starting over from scratch again.
Amazing. I saw that the Lycoming County Commissioners issued an award for Roger and Austin Stipkak, who were the pilot car services. I guess that's like the last step, getting it on the road and all the safety that goes along with that.
Yeah, we had given everybody involved a plaque to express our appreciation because of just the magnitude of what went into it. It wasn't just a matter of just throwing it on a tractor trailer and off you go. It was a pretty well choreographed, I guess.
I noticed that award also said that there was video documentation of the event. Did you keep that kind of footage, and will you make something of that, or is it just archived for your personal use?
Well, On the Pulse did a video of it, and Austin working on for his senior project, I believe it's at Lycoming College, a documentary of the A6, which covers basically the acquisition of it and transport, and I guess he's going to cover the restoration of it as well.
Are you looking for donations from private folks just sending in checks, or will there be opportunities for us to raise funds with programs that you come up with in the future here for this year in 2021?
Both, really.
Okay.
People can send in a check, buy a brick, send in a donation, mark it for the A6 or specific part of the park there.
Yeah, we're talking about the Lycoming County Veterans Memorial Park, honoring or memorializing a veteran with a personalized brick. Put forth your loved ones forever in the Memorial Park. How about it, John?
That's exactly right. And the bricks cost $50 for a 4x8 and $200 for a 12x12. And that's how we started to raise our funds. We started to sell bricks back in 2014, and we broke ground on our north wall, what we call, in 2018 with the college students.
Chuck?
It certainly is notable that since the founding of the park, there has tremendous support from citizens, businesses, social organizations, veterans, and local government continue to expand and provide an outstanding salute to all those that have served. It really has been a community project throughout Lake County to bring the park to where it is today. Then we're continuing to look at future projects. I think it's really important to note that the establishment of the Gold Star Family Memorial, which will honor those families who have suffered the ultimate loss in the protection of our freedom. We're anticipating that should be ready around Memorial Day next year, if everything goes as planned.
Well, we certainly want to be able to honor those families, the Gold Star families, in that way. I can't wait to be able to see something like that so beautiful.
It's a very impressive monument. It is certainly well-deserved by the families that made the ultimate sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
If I may, the date that I just received for the dedication of the Gold Star Monument is September the 30th of 2021.
Okay, well, we'll definitely put that on the calendar and look forward to that ceremony. And now you have the A6 Intruder, and you mentioned, John, that you were going to be pouring a concrete pad to make that presentation, but where is it sitting now?
It's actually sitting on high steel property, which is right on our borderline of the Veterans Memorial Park. That's where it's going to be prepped and painted and everything right there. And then once it's done and completed, we'll be able to make our pads for our pillars for the wheels to sit on. We'd like to have the wheels up off the ground just a little bit.
Sure.
And then it will be high steel will come up and lift it and set it on that pad then.
After the Gold Star Monument, do you have plans for more of the property to be used?
We have some ideas for the future. We don't want to give them out just yet.
Okay. It's classified at this moment.
Yes, ma'am.
There's actually quite a few ideas about future expansion of the park and recognition of various items. Again, it's all on the drawing board at this point.
May I ask about your service in the United States military, John?
Yes, I'm a retired command sergeant major with the United States Army. I had in 36 years, 9 months, 36 days. I'm a reservist. I actually spent my active duty time in the United States Navy in 1970 into 72, and I stayed in the Naval Reserve until 92, somewhere in there. And then I joined the Army Reserve and moved right up the ranks in the Army. I spent a year over in Iraq and Kuwait, left my job for 14 months. I worked for the city of Williamsport for 45 years.
Well, thank you for your service, John Markley, for sure. That's a big, long career. Don, let me ask you about your service.
Yeah, I was a submariner in the Navy.
Well, thank you very much for your service for the Navy. And also for Chuck Stutzman, what was your position in the U.S. military?
I retired from Navy Reserves as Command Master Chief, Fleet Hospital 17, and I was activated for Desert Shield. Like I said, I had 28 and a half years. Most of that time I spent with the Marine Corps or the Seabees, as I was medical personnel, and those two areas don't have medical personnel, so we're cross-assigned from the Navy to those specialty units.
Of the members and volunteers of the Veterans Memorial in Williamsport, how many are veterans? Is everybody a veteran?
Yes, everyone's a veteran that's on our commission. And our commission is appointed by the mayor and approved by city council.
Is there an opportunity for folks to join up with you?
When we have a vacancy, then there's a process we go through to interview for a position on our commission, and that name is given to the mayor. Then he interviews them, and then it goes to in front of city council for approval.
Well, I'm sure you have a committee of amazing men and women who put this together, and we really look forward to hearing more about the A6 Intruder. What's going to be the next step? You're waiting for funding, or do you have a reserve at this time for the next part of the project?
Yes. What we plan on doing is on the south side, by the Korea War Monument, the Vietnam, World War I, and World War II, we're going to remove that sidewalk that goes up to each one of the monuments. And we're going to continue our brick sidewalk from the torpedo all the way to the global war conflict come spring. We hope to have that done before Memorial Day services. Then that's where we continue to raise funds. We put our bricks in, and then as we sell our bricks, we take a blank brick out and put the brick in. So we have a nice little system that we're doing right now. And as we receive our bricks, Don Young, Denny Bennett, and myself, we pick up the bricks from Glengarry, and we take them up to the park, and we put them in that same day we pick them up. Then we make a phone call to the people now because it's a lot easier than it was in 2014 when we started this. But we can call the people and let them know their brick is in and about where they can find it between one of the monuments on this north wall. We represent all the wars that were dedicated by Congress in that park, starting with the Revolutionary War, 1812, the Civil War, the Indian War, the Spanish War, right up as you walk to east, you'll walk right up to the World War II monument, which is the torpedo. Then you'll come around the torpedo and you'll hit the World War I monument, then the World War II, and so on. It's continuous working on it. We're still continuing to raise funds to continue our work. And I must say that the city of Williamsport, streets and parks do help us a lot when it comes to digging and everything. And none of these monuments has come out of any taxpayer's money. It's all donations. And thank you to the contractors and the companies out there like Jersey Shore Block, Wild Rose, Tony Visco. The names just keep going on. I'm just popping off the top of my head a few of them right now. Mm-hmm. Big contributors, but the biggest one is the Penn College and all their labor they've done in building it for us. We can't thank them enough.
Well, we certainly want to make sure everybody knows where they can send any donations to continue this amazing project that you've started, and it's just a beautiful spot over there on West 4th Street. You can send a check made payable to Lycoming County Veterans Memorial Park and send that to Veterans Memorial Park. Attention, Veterans Memorial Park, 1550 West 3rd Street, Williamsport, PA 17701, which is the Street and Parks Department. They'll be handling the funding there, right?
That's correct. We accept no cash. It's a check to the city, to that Department of Streets and Parks, and they will process that right into our account. It does not go into any general fund. It goes right to our account, and there's no questions asked.
All right. There's also a form online. You can find that, I think, on your Facebook page. Or did I get this form from one of you, or did I get it off the internet? The Lycoming County Veterans Memorial Park brick form, where you can put your words on there.
I believe you picked it up from us when you were up at the park.
Okay.
They can pick them up at Streets and Parks. And we have a mailbox that sits right by the tank that has forms in also. To tribute to the A6 intruder, just right across it, donation to the A6 intruder, and send that form in. It's as simple as that.
All right, gentlemen. Was there anything else anyone wanted to add?
Yeah, Freddie, if I could add real quick, just some notable details on the A6.
Sure.
There's only 38 of them on display in the country. We're the only veterans park that has one. Now, all the other A6s on display are either museums or at military installations.
Wow.
We're hoping that'll become a source of pride for the community that we have one of the 38 in the country. That's
special.
Another aspect with the A6, we dubbed it Warhorse 503, which is what it was named when it flew. It flew the Libyan bombing missions in '86 after the German nightclub bombing, when Muammar Gaddafi terrorists had bombed a nightclub in Berlin.
Wow.
It flew that mission. I've actually spoken to the pilot who flew the mission, and I've been in touch with pilot and navigator, and they're kind of advising us on some stuff along the way. Pretty interesting.
Would they be invited to see the installation of the monument?
Yeah, I've extended an invitation to them. They live down in the south, so whether or not they can make it or not. They actually, Austin arranged contact with them, and he interviewed both of them in his documentary video.
Well, it's just wonderful. And I feel like we're kind of scratching the surface on the history that's available to see at the Lycoming County Veterans Memorial Park in Williamsport. Is there anyone ever hanging out there to meet and greet folks that can answer questions? Or is everything sort of self-explanatory, I guess, in the park?
I'm up there, believe it or not, almost every day during the summer, sometime or another. And there's a lot of people that come in and sit in their cars, get out, walk around, sit on the benches. And I've asked so many people, what do you think? And they said, we just like coming here. It's so peaceful. And just looking at the names of the people that gave the supreme sacrifice for our freedom today that we have, and our freedom of speech, and the way our country is. And we can't thank these people enough and their families. And it's so heartwarming to hear people talk like that. And Chuck Stutzman could even say a little bit more about it, too, on the purpose of the whole park also.
Chuck?
Well, certainly, besides the recognition, I just think it's an outstanding ability for young kids that are in school that may not get some of the information about the history of the United States and what we've been involved in, and how, as a country, we have continued to stand for the freedoms that we have and the willingness to protect those freedoms, not only for us, but for others that are being compromised in the world. It's just fantastic. I've visited a lot of national parks and a lot of state parks, private parks related to this. Certainly the one in Lycoming County is above the standard, what you usually see. Just the fact that we have the tank and that's the A6. Most memorial parks or designated areas will only have one or may not even have any other than that are actually military hardware. So we're very fortunate. We've been blessed to have what we have and be able to provide this for the citizens of Lycoming County. And like John says, when we're up there, it is amazing the number of people that come, just sit and observe what's there and think about relatives that were involved or themselves. They usually are asking questions of how the park was designed and how the progress has been made, and so it's been a good time for all of us that interface with visitors.
Well, thank you so much, Chuck and Don, John, for letting me know more about the A6 Intruder, the installation of a great monument that's going to be there later this year, and also opportunities for us to help you with the fundraising for the bricks that can be laid right here in the Memorial Park, which is at 3401 West 4th Street in Williamsport. Put it in the GPS and go and take a visit.
The bricks that are being sold, you do not have to be a veteran to buy a brick.
Okay.
You can put it in memory of anyone. You can do whatever you choose on that brick as long as it's within reason. We check all the forms that come in and for spelling and everything, and we make phone calls back to certain people. The names that are on the monuments are only the ones that gave the supreme sacrifice on the south side of the park. Thank you.
Absolutely. We are going to honor those veterans. We're going to take a look this year and keep it in our mind. So thank you so much to each of you gentlemen for joining me today on InTouch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
InTouch is locally produced in our studios at 1685 4 Mile Drive in Williamsport. To get in touch with us regarding questions, comments, or topic ideas, call weekdays between 8 and 5, 570-323-8200. You can also write to us at 1685 4 Mile Drive, Williamsport, PA 17701, attention Freddi Hammer, or email me at fhammer@backyardbroadcasting.com. For archive programs of our InTouch series, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Backyard Broadcasting. Each current weekly program is featured on the Backyard Broadcasting websites. Thanks for listening to InTouch, a production of Backyard Broadcasting.